Hello! Thank you for stopping by the Massachusetts Beer Review channel of YouTube. I am Thomas Metal 75. This is Massachusetts Beer Reviews. Welcome all to this barrel-aged stout review. This one is a very commonly, I believe in the craft beer world, it would be pretty commonly available for most to find. From the New Holland Brewing Company comes the Dragon's Milk Bourbon Barrel Stout from their High Gravity series. That's what it says. Dragon's Milk Stout. They say on the back of the bottle, roasty malt character intermingled with deep vanilla notes, all dancing in an oak bath. Pairings: red meat, smoked foods, balsamic, rich cheeses, and dark chocolate. I guess they consider this a pretty good beer to age. It's 11%, guys, alcohol by volume. And it says on the back of the bottle it's a vintage of 2015, so with the ABV plus that vintage dating on it, this would probably be and is recommended for aging. The only beer that I recall that I've ever had, again, that I recall ever having from the New Holland Brewing Company, was their Poet Oatmeal Stout, and I thought that that beer was absolutely delicious. Just quick information here. They also do reserve lines of the Dragon's Milk Stout. They have just a Dragon's Milk Reserve, which is stout aged with oak. Stout aged in oak, I should say, with coffee and chocolate. Then they have a triple mashed stout aged in oak. Oak aged with raspberries, and aged oak with chilies. I don't know if I'm gonna try to get you some more information here through the New Holland Brewing, newhollandbrew.com site. They are talking about this beer being a bourbon barrel stout at 31 IBUs, glacier and nugget hops, 2-row Munich caramel, crystal black, chocolate malt, and flaked barley. It's an American barley yeast at 11%, and they started brewing this beer in 2011. Okay, enough about the beer. Let's get it into our tasting glass and see what the Dragon's Milk Stout is all about. It says on the back of the cap, talk. Let's do more drinking than talking here. Little kind of a glass you get at a lot of breweries. Yeah. There's a little bit of water left in there from cleaning it. I don't know if it's going to create a big head, but, you know, we'll see. No clue if this is unfiltered, so I will swirl the bottle. And there's a tiny bit of drops in there. Don't want to spill the beer. Get that off camera. Alright, Dragon's Milk Stout is all kinds of black. Black. It's got a little bit of the red towards the bottom of the glass, but that's almost indiscernible in its appearance. Now, I have to assume in a narrower rimmed glass, or even a pint glass, the head would be a little bit tighter and bigger, I guess. But this is just that pinky's worth, and it sort of has that imperial looking stout, tan colored khaki head to it with the small tight bubbles. So, and it looks like it's somewhat carbonated, can't really tell too much, but let's give it a nose. Let's smell the Dragon's Milk Stout. Ooh, and it's got the bourbon notes. Those bourbon and the caramel notes, or the bourbon and the vanilla. And there is the that typical kind of coconut that you get from the bourbon barrels and from bourbon. Not sure where the bourbon was made, so I can't really tell you that it's stylistically appropriate to whatever kind of bourbon it is, but it has to be, obviously. Maybe it's Kentucky Straight. And there is, I don't know if it's like a chocolate, dark chocolate, powdery cocoa nib kind of a scent to it. And it's very yeasty and earthy. And yeah, just deep roasted malts. Let's get a taste of the Dragon's Milk Stout. Cheers, everybody. Ooh. It's definitely has a big roasted barley malt taste and that dark chocolatey powder, or like a dark chocolate floury kind of a cakey type taste almost. Very deep dark roasted malts. That is what is going on in this beer, and that is what it is all about. Obviously, being it a bourbon barrel aged stout, it does have those notes of the alcohol and the wood. The vanilla is there too, and again that coconut flavor. I think the mouthfeel of the beer is on, it's kind of difficult. I think to some people this could be considered a full-bodied beer, and I definitely think it's a fuller-bodied ale overall in general. I think it's definitely on the high side of medium, a light, full-bodied beer, if that makes any sense. It's very rich tasting, but I don't think it's, for being an imperial stout at 11%, it's somewhat on the scary side of its drinkability, so it's actually smooth is what I'm trying to say. And there is a little bit of like a cherry or some kind of a sweet, dark, fruity quality towards the end of the sip, and it's kind of chewy, like a big old wine, and it's got a little bit of viscosity in the mouthfeel, obviously at 11%, and it is a little sticky around the rim of the glass, sure. But it's just such a rich and complex beer that potentially even doing a video review and trying to tell you what I'm finding out on this beer may not even do it enough justice, because it's such a rich and intense and complex beer. And you are starting to feel a little bit towards the back of the palate and the throat, the warmth, but it is not a burn. It's nice and pleasantly warm. I bet you this would do better towards room temperature. I had it out for maybe 5 minutes while I was getting the camera ready for the review. No charge, as Joe D would say. So, I think this is an exceptional, exceptional beer. And I'm going to take one more sip and give you my final verdict and grade on the Dragon's Milk Stout. See, that sip I took a bigger gulp, and it had a little bit of a souring note towards the end. It's very interesting. One more sip, because it seems to be unlike how Swill and Grog in Australia would say it's holding its taste profile. This is so complex, it's got some different profiles in its taste that goes on. Yeah, I guess it is a little bit chewy and sour before it dries, and it does have some, obviously, upfront sweetness. I keep forgetting to mention sweetness in some of these beer reviews, but Obviously, it's got a sweetness almost like a candied sugar to a sense, a burnt sugar sweetness. But I got no problem giving that an A beer, and it's got to be an A plus as far as an Imperial Stout's concerned, or a barrel-aged beer. If you like your bourbon, you would love this beer. If you like your Imperial Stouts, if you really like Goose Island, Bourbon County, whatever, this is the beer to pick up and try. I'm telling you that. So, I'll give it an A. Yes, I will. This review has been going on way too long. But, again, this has been New Holland's Dragon's Milk Stout. Until next time, keep tasting those great beers. We'll see you soon. Go New England Patriots football. Hello, Massachusetts Beer Review is back again with an update on the Dragon's Milk Stout from New Holland Brewing Company. It has been some time since I've done the original video portion of the beer, and I was curious to see at this point in time. I don't have a reference point, so I apologize. I'm curious to see how it's been since it's, you know, been sitting down while I'm watching the... Sorry about that. Since I've been watching the Patriots game, how it's changed in since it's warmed up a little bit. Initially in the nose, it's still virtually the same, I think. Again, I think the coconut and the bourbon and the vanilla and the yeasty, bready thing is the predominant scent. Let's try it again. And at this point in time, it's got more of a milky, kind of a lactic kind of a feel. Definitely like a really dark chocolate, like a chocolate milk or something along those lines. But the alcohol presence, to me, is still as prevalent as ever in the beer. And throughout the course of not even drinking this entire bottle of beer, no charge, 12-ounce bottle, you feel this beer in a pleasant way. You feel it's 11%. So yeah, at this point in time, there's a dark milk chocolatey quality to it and less of a pronounced booziness. It's felt the booziness, but it's not pronounced quite as much. If you enjoy these kind of beers, you would get the notion of what happens when they warm up and what they can do. If you don't like these kind of beers, at this point in time, they're still going to taste quite on the boozy side. To you, that is the update. Keep the rating at an A, keeping the Imperial Stout overall rating at an A+. See you guys soon.